Welcome to another Copycat recipe video here on Dole Whip and Castle Dreams. This is a part of our Treats and Eats section, and we like to do recipes from all around Disney World and Disneyland. And today is another request video. Thank you, Chrissy O, for requesting this one. This one's for you. And we are going to head to Kona Cafe for their very scrumptious pot stickers. They're so yummy. And I know that Disney does a lot of pot stickers at different places, but we're gonna go with Kona's today because of the sauce that they use. It's just really creamy and buttery and so good. So we're gonna be making that recipe today. And for our sprinkling of pixie dust, we're gonna start off with that right away. It's just a little something that we do that's extra from the recipe because Disney always adds just that little bit of magic that they add to everything, and so we like to call that our sprinkling of pixie dust. Now the recipe that we got is, they actually say to just use store-bought pot stickers, which is totally fine, and if you want to do that, go ahead, because it does take a little bit of time to make those. But for our sprinkling of pixie dust, we're using homemade pot stickers. That's right, I made these bad boys right here. I've never made pot stickers before, so it was a fun experience. But let me show you really quick how I did that. So I started with browning my ground pork. You can really use any kind of protein here, beef, pork, tofu, even shrimp, I've heard of that, could be pretty good. Really any protein that you want, but I chose the pork because I just like the flavor that it adds to the pot stickers. I just think it's really good. So I went ahead with ground pork, and I'm browning that. And then once you finish that, you're gonna wanna make sure that your all your veggies and stuff are ready to go. So I've got my shredded green cabbage, and I also want to dice up my shiitake mushrooms. I got about 3 ounces of shiitake mushrooms that I'm just gonna chop into nice diced small pieces, so they'll fit in there pretty well with the ground pork. And then I'm going to slice up my green onions, nice and thin, so they'll go in that too. Then once we've got all that ready, we're gonna go ahead and mix it together.
We're gonna start with our ground pork, pour it into our bowl. And then next we're gonna add our ginger and white pepper, sprinkle it on in there. Then we'll add our garlic, freshly pressed, or you can get the store-bought kind in a jar. And our green onions that we sliced up, throw those in there too. Next we'll do our shredded green cabbage and our diced shiitake mushrooms. Next we're going to add our 2 teaspoons of sesame oil. Once we've got all those other ingredients in there, we're just going to kind of sprinkle it around a little bit. This is going to kind of help hold it all together as we mix it. And then we're going to add our tablespoon of hoisin sauce. Again, if you want to add a little bit more, you can. Like I said, this kind of helps hold it all together and also give it some flavor. Then we're just going to mix it all up until it's all evenly distributed, so we can put it into our wonton wrappers. You can pick out any of the larger chunks of cabbage that you might see in there, just to help keep the pieces small.
And once that's done, you're going to spoon about a tablespoon into your wonton wrappers. Now I have the square ones, but you can also get the circle ones. Those probably look more like your traditional pot stickers, so if you want to get those, that's great too. And you just fold them in half. If you're doing the circles, you're going to want a half moon. If you're doing the squares like me, you're going to do a triangle. Fold them in half with that about a tablespoon of the mixture in the center, and then you're going to want to wet the edges of your wrapper to make it stick. And then you're going to fold it over and just really pinch those edges nice and firm. Make sure you get as much of the air out as possible. You don't want those air pockets in there. And then once you've got all of those done, no, I just wanted to say, if you want to make some of these ahead of time, you can freeze them. You're going to want to do that before you cook them. So after you pinch them closed, go ahead and lay them out on your cookie sheet and freeze them, and then you can toss them in a bag and keep them in your freezer, and then just cook them up whenever you're ready. It'll take a little bit longer if they're frozen, but if they're not, it should go pretty quick. So we're going to put in our oil and heat that up, and then just fry them really quick on both sides till we're a nice golden brown. And there they are, they're all finished, and we're ready to get started on our sauce. There are two components that go on top of the pot stickers. There's the beurre blanc sauce, but there's also some pickled cucumber. Now I'm going to show you how to do that first because you're going to want to let it refrigerate for about 5 hours to really get the flavor to sink in. So you've got our cucumbers, our red pepper, our black sesame seed, our sushi ginger or pickled ginger, whatever you can find. It's the same thing. They just call it different things. It's usually in the baking section by the spices and stuff, or else I got mine on Amazon. I love Amazon. And then kosher salt and white pepper. So what you're going to do is you're going to put all of this together, and voila, we've got it all mixed together in our bowl, and you're going to let that sit in the fridge for about 5 hours, like I said, so those flavors can really just permeate through the whole thing. And you're going to use about an ounce of this per every 5 pot stickers. So just kind of keep that in mind when you make this recipe. If you're going to make more than 5, this will probably do about, what, 20, maybe 20 pot stickers. I think I've got enough for that in here. So just really watch that and how much you want to make. You can make more, you can make less, it's up to you. For the beurre blanc sauce, there's just 3 ingredients. You've got your cup of soy sauce, which is 8 ounces. You've got 8 ounces of butter that you're going to chop into about 1/2-inch cubes, and 2 quarts of heavy cream. Now we're going to head over to the stove and get that started. We're going to heat up our soy sauce first and let that simmer until it reduces by about 1/3. And then we're going to add our heavy cream and let that go until it reduces by about 1/3 as well. Then we're going to remove it from our heat and add our butter very slowly and let it melt in.
Now that we've got all our components done, we can go ahead and plate our dish. You're going to do about 5 pot stickers per serving. So I'm going to go ahead and lay these out in a nice little fan pattern. And then once those are ready, I'm going to go ahead and spoon on my beurre blanc sauce. Now I do want to warn you that the recipe here does make quite a bit of sauce. So you're probably going to want to have that at least, maybe even do less than half, just because, like I said, it does make a lot of sauce, but I found that the sauce is delicious. So we've been using it as gravy on other things as well. So you can make as much or as little as you want, but you will find plenty of uses for it. And then I'm going to put on my pickled cucumbers. Yeah, I'm using my fingers just to help spread it around a little bit. Again, be sure you wash your hands first. This is just for my family, so they don't mind. But I just found that it helps plate it a little bit nicer using my fingers as opposed to just dumping it on with a spoon. And then finally, I'm going to put on some more black sesame seeds. I think it just makes it look really nice. And of course, adds a little bit of taste to it. Now all you have to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy. We hope you enjoyed this Treats and Eats video. We hope you will hit that subscribe button and the bell button so you don't miss any of our episodes. We do one once a week on Wednesdays. Those are our Treats and Eats, or our tips and tricks, or our Disney craft video. Those come out every Wednesday. We also do some fun ones on Fridays and Saturdays, so be sure to subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss any of those episodes. Thanks for stopping by.